This is a No and Go Storm Alert. Here's Jonathan O.
I'm meteorologist Jonathan O reporting to you from Tokyo. This is a no and go storm alert. We continue to monitor Typhoon Hagibis as it continues to move toward the north and east. The storm made landfall a little bit before 7 o'clock in the evening local time on the Izu Peninsula of Shizuoka Prefecture. We still have emergency warnings. In fact, it is expanded since the last time I gave you a video update. So let me review those for you at this point. It is quite extensive. We have Miyagi, Fukushima, Ibaraki, Tochigi, Gunma, Niigata, Nagano, Yamanashi, Saitama, Tokyo, Kanagawa, and Shizuoka prefectures all under a emergency warning for heavy rain. Now, a lot of the rain is moving toward the Tohoku region as we go throughout the overnight hours, and then eventually the system will be departing from the area. But the threats for mudslides because of the rain, the winds are still blowing, along with the flooding issues from the heavy rain that's taking place. Many rivers are having problems here. We have these emergency warnings in place. You want to make sure that you heed the advice of all the officials that are telling you to be safe and to evacuate to safer locations if it is safe for you to make that move. Because all of these locations are also under a level 5 evacuation advisory or order, meaning that there is either a high chance or already a mudslide disaster or a flooding disaster is taking place. So you want to make sure that you are in a safe location at this point. It is dark outside. You don't want to be out and about. One note, though, I want to mention here. Notice Chiba Prefecture is not located in this slate of emergency warnings. That's really helpful to hear, simply because we've had so much concern with this storm, whether we're seeing damage from heavy rain or strong winds. And so that's the reason why it's at least a little bit of a helpful point to see that it's not under emergency warning at this point. Nevertheless, the sad news is we have at least one death that resulted from either strong winds or potentially a twister over in Chiba Prefecture, where a man was found in his car that was overturned and he later passed away. We also have some concerns with people either missing, such as in Gunma Prefecture, and also others that were hurt in Chiba Prefecture because of the storms that were in the area. Here's a look at the satellite for the past 6 hours. Notice that core of the storm rolling right over the Izu Peninsula and through the metro area of Tokyo. In fact, I'm in the center of Tokyo. I've heard those strong winds beating up against the outside of the apartment. And also on top of that, we had an earthquake that was a magnitude 5 or so and had a seismic intensity of around 4 along the Chiba Prefecture coastline. So that was a little bit interesting of a mix, and we really didn't need to have that happen simply because the ground is so saturated and wet. Even the earth moving will cause potential trees to topple over as well. So here's a look at the radar as of the few minutes before the 10 o'clock hour. And notice this is Tokyo right here. A lot of that rain is now spread toward the north into Miyagi Prefecture, Fukushima Prefecture, and even into places like Ibaraki, Tochigi, Gunma prefectures as well. We will see the rain continuing to move north and northeast, and this is still heavy rain, which is why we have the emergency warnings in place. The tropical tracker showing us that the typhoon is large, still has a huge area of influence, but it is no longer very strong. It has weakened just a bit. It will continue to move toward the north and east. By the time we go into 3 o'clock in the morning, we're expecting the core to be off the coast, but I've talked about this many times. The system is quite large. You will still have strong winds as we go throughout the overnight hour. We'll have to wait until around 9 a.m. before we start to see the influence waning and the storm really running out into sea. Quick note also, I notice a lot of people are saying, well, this was a super typhoon and it's a big deal. It was a super typhoon or a violent typhoon down toward the south of Japan, but when it made landfall, please note, it was a very strong typhoon in terms of category, in terms of comparing it to a hurricane, category 1, category 2, really, something to that effect. It is, as far as I know, the strongest typhoon to make landfall in this part of Japan in the recorded history, the recorded books that we have. It is the strongest one that we've had. But It was not a super typhoon when it made landfall. And I want to emphasize that because I have a lot of people throwing out information out there that's not true. It was a very strong typhoon, but not a violent typhoon, not a super typhoon when it made landfall. So I wanted to share the wind report as well. We had reports right around the 9 o'clock hour where we had wind speeds of 25 to 35 meters per second, which is 100 plus kilometers per hour. So these are strong winds that are reported on the surface. And if you look very closely with the arrows and how they are spinning around, yeah, during the 9 o'clock hour, the core was like right there over Kanagawa Prefecture, moving into the eastern portion of Tokyo Prefecture, Tokyo, the metro specifically. And then the storm will be continuing to move toward the north and east. So we are in the waning hours in terms of seeing the biggest threat for the metro area starting to wane, but nevertheless, the storm is still a big part of the story, and you will need to monitor it as we go through overnight hours into the day on Sunday. Folks, if you are in this area and Japanese is difficult for you, if you're not able to speak Japanese or understand Japanese, you can get help in English, Chinese, or Korean. This phone number is running 24 hours a day. If you need help and you need help in one of these three languages, call this number 050-3816-2787. Let me repeat that number for you, 050-3816-2787, and you can get assistance in English, Chinese, or Korean. Because I know there are a lot of folks who are here visiting, or folks who are here who really prefer to have one of these languages as opposed to using Japanese, and so it is available for you if you need help, because we want to be able to help you as much as possible, get the word out as much as possible as we get through Hagibis. So all in all, couple of big points. We still have emergency warnings for heavy rain in a good portion of central and eastern Japan. Be safe. Stay in elevated locations away from the waters, because many dams will start to open up, and many of those waters that the water has been gathering behind the dam will be spraying right down to the rivers that have already gone past flood warning stage in many locations. So you want to be away from the rivers. And second of all, we're expecting the storm to still be a part of the story as we go through the overnight hours. Things should be much calmer as we go through the day on Sunday, and that's when we'll have a better idea of how the storm is going, the aftermath of the storm, what kind of impact the storm has had for this region. I'm meteorologist Jonathan No. This has been a No Go Storm Alert from Tokyo.